Hi, I'm Christy Clover with Raising Clovers, and today I did a Periscope live where I answered some questions about how to handle those tough homeschool questions that inevitably every single homeschooler gets. If you have ever considered homeschooling or have been homeschooling for years, anytime you mention the word homeschool, you will inevitably get some sort of question about, what about socialization, and is that legal, and will your kids turn out okay, and all kinds of different questions. So today we did a little Q&A and we talked through a lot of different questions that we have with homeschooling. I share several of my tips on how to handle different things that people share, and also added a few little things about just our goals for our homeschool and how I handle tough situations as well. So I hope you enjoyed the Periscope, and in case you didn't know, you're probably thinking, this doesn't look at all like a Periscope. Periscope's not shot like this. It's shot in a portrait view, which I'll show you here to get you ready for it, but it's not shot like this. Periscopes are shot like this. So I have created this fun little template to make it easier to watch the Periscope video, and you can actually check out my blog from here and check out my little helper as well. She was napping during the Periscope, but she makes it a lot more fun, huh? Do you have anything you want to share about how to answer homeschool critics? Huh?
I want to dance.
You want to dance?
Yeah.
That answers everything right there. Anyway, enjoy this Periscope. Hello, hello. This is our topic for today. My camera goes on hold, but hello. Hi, Roslyn. Hi, Polka Dots. That's Amy, right? I think, Amy, you're Polka Dots. Hi, Leah. Hi, everyone. Oh, you guys are so great. Hello. Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Christy Clover, and I blog at raisingclovers.com, and I'm a homeschool mom of 5 kids, and I've been homeschooling now. I'm going into my 8th year. So I have encountered quite a few critics of homeschooling through the years, and I had a question on my last Periscope about homeschool questions. Oh, you're welcome, Roslyn. It was so fun to see you live. Well, I just wanted to open it up to everybody and see if anyone's been getting any particular homeschool questions from people. I mean, some people are not nice about homeschool questions, but I would love to answer anything that you guys are coming up against. Again, I know I have hit them all through the years, but would love to hear if you guys are having anything in particular. So I know I get so many questions. Usually if I'm at the grocery store with my kids during the day, people are like, oh, are you on a break? Do you have, what's going on? I didn't know schools were on a break. And that's when, you're like, oh, well, we homeschool. And then that's usually when I always get funny looks anyway, because I have 5 kids. But yeah, when I find out I homeschool 5 kids, pretty much people, I think the first thing out of their mouths is usually, are you crazy? And sometimes I just answer, yes, I am. I don't know if you guys get those same questions, but yes, so as crazy people who homeschool and stay at home with our kids all day, we are faced with a ton of crazy questions. So what are a few that you guys get? Does anybody have any? I'm waiting, but that's okay. I don't have to wait. I can answer some of the normal ones that we get. I will say, this is my tip to all new homeschoolers, is that my typical statement that can turn, if I don't feel like getting into a long conversation with people, or, maybe it's just not a good time, or maybe I know this person's a little explosive, then my typical comment back to them, if they say really anything like, why do you homeschool? Why would you do that? My neighbors all here think I'm crazy because we live in a great school district. So really, the best way I found to answer the critics is to say, you know what? We view homeschooling as giving our kids a private Christian education for a fraction of the cost. Let's see here, Leah. I get asked, how are they socialized all the time? Yes, and actually, my answer to that is usually the fact that I have to try really hard not to over-socialize my kids. There are so many opportunities. We haven't started yet. 3.5. People still act like we're crazy. Yes, I know. Everybody thinks that you're totally crazy for homeschooling. And you know what? I think it takes a little bit of insanity to homeschool, but that's okay. It's a good insanity. It's a Lord-inspired insanity, right? But back to what I was saying in that, yes, socialization. there are so many opportunities that just weren't there before. So homeschooling is huge now. So there's anything from club sports to, all kinds of co-op classes. We have church programs. We have, just family get-togethers. So my kids can be socialized beyond socialization. If anything, I feel like I have to be the one that really monitors when to say no and when to say yes to different events, because we can totally overschedule, and that's not helpful or productive for anyone in our family. So I feel like sometimes I have to be the guardian. So let's see next. Okay, my mom homeschooled all of us, 10 kids. That's awesome. So it made her a little crazy at one point. Yes, but that's normal. Oh yeah, I think motherhood in general just makes you a little, hi Psycho 6, how are you? I forgot what your name is. I've seen you on, I think, iHomeschool Network. But yes, so Melanie, right, hi. Oh yes, I saw you. I looked at one of your scopes earlier today. But yes, so I think, yeah, like we said, it takes a little bit of insanity, but motherhood in general makes you crazy, right? And I think one big thing that people don't think about is that it's so natural to teach your kids things. And I think when you homeschool, you just make more of an effort to look at all of the teaching opportunities that are all around you. Because really, learning is happening all day long. It doesn't matter. But there's something about when people reach a point where their kids are like 4 or 5, and most people have taught their kids their ABCs. Join the Homeschool Scopes Facebook group. Oh, thank you. I'd love to. I think I saw your tag, and so I tagged that. So 2 toddlers and a newborn here, and I feel a little crazy. See? Yeah, motherhood is crazy. So, but I think people give me an extra strange look when they find out that I homeschool on top of having 5 kids, which 5 doesn't seem like that many to me. Maybe because in the homeschool community, there's so many people that have larger families than mine. But I guess in our normal neighborhood, 2 kids is normal. We have, a lot of kids here that are only children in our block. So I don't know. Maybe that does make me a little odd. In fact, it was really cute. Some of the neighbors, we had a neighborhood party a couple years back, and I was pregnant with our 5th, and they're like, oh, now are you Mormon or Catholic? I just laughed because I'm like, well, neither. We're just Christians, and I don't know, we enjoy kids. Not that other people don't enjoy having kids, but yes, we love it. But yes, any more questions? Even you veterans out there, I would love to hear from you. I know that I've noticed several names popping up, and we have a lot of veterans. Same thing. Yes, people always think we're Mormons too. Yeah. Well, Normans. Yeah, people always think that. I homeschool 4 kids here in the UK. It's still growing here, so lots of questions. Yes, and even though homeschooling in the States, it's getting a lot more common, especially I have a feeling, hi Philsmar, it's getting a lot more normal here. There's so many opportunities, but I know in other countries it's still growing. So again, if you missed it, I'm Christy Clover. I'm going into my 8th year of homeschooling and answering questions from the critics. But I think my blanket statement to most people when I share with all other homeschool moms, okay, I have to say this is so cool. I'm so nervous about homeschooling, and the closer we get to homeschooling. Oh, don't be nervous. I mean, I actually wrote a blog post about Indiana Jones and your homeschool and what they have in common, and it's that feeling like you're going to step off into oblivion, and yeah, you don't. There's firm ground. It just takes sometimes that different perspective to see that there's actually a bridge, like in Indiana Jones. So, yeah, so can you tell I have boys? We watch a lot of Indiana Jones here. But yes, that's exactly how I felt when I started homeschooling. We're 8 years into. Good! That's awesome! Yay! Oh, very fun. But yes, so my blanket statement for any of you that missed it when I first started is that I tell people that we are giving our children a private school education at a fraction of a cost, or I'll say a private Christian school education at a fraction of the cost. And I tell you, you should try it. That comment, people don't really know what to say after that. They're totally calm. Especially difficult when you have so many friends who are teachers. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because in the homeschool community, if the people are former educators or public school teachers, they have the hardest time with homeschooling. So many people ask, are you qualified to homeschool? And the answer is absolutely. I love my kids more than any other teacher out there is ever going to love them. So I am invested in their education. So I'm completely qualified. Yes, I know. Are you qualified? Do you need a teaching credential? That's what I get all the time. I'm like, nope. And again, I homeschool in California, so we have different laws. I don't know the laws. I meant to call HSLDA today to find out what some of the different laws were in different states, because I was curious, like if you do need a teaching credential in other states, and I don't know what it is in the UK. I think it's Leah that you were saying that you were from the UK. I don't know what some of your laws are there. Here, all 50 states, it is legal to homeschool. So different states are easier than others. Those in Texas and I think Idaho, and there's one other state that like they don't have any rules, and it's awesome. Like you don't have to tell anybody that you're going to homeschool. So that's awesome. I joke with my husband all the time. I'm like, if it gets tough in California, we're moving to Texas. So, and it's actually been humid here in California, which, hey, maybe God's preparing us for Texas. I don't know. But yes, so the criticism is often, oh, thank you, Melanie. But yeah, so I feel I am better qualified than most teachers to teach my own children. And a big part of it is, like Melanie was just saying, my attitude. You know what? It is your attitude. If you are confident, and if you're not confident yet and you're new at homeschooling, fake it. Seriously. Be confident in yourself. You love your kids. And you know what? I will guarantee you are going to have really hard days. You know your kids more than exactly. You know your kids better than anyone else. And you know what I've loved about homeschooling is that my oldest, when we started homeschooling, he was reading at like 5, like chapter books. So of course I went into homeschooling going, I can teach anyone how to read. My 5-year-old can read chapter books. And then God gave me my second child. And, it took us years. We literally went through, I think, 4 different phonics programs. And I once heard a convention speaker say that somebody's like, what's the best phonic program? And he's like, your third, because by your third, something's going to click. But yeah, so the Lord totally humbles you when you are homeschooling daily. Be prepared for that. He's going to test you in your humility, and he's going to test you in your patience. But, again, you're going to have really hard days. You're going to have days when you feel like throwing in the towel. And my number one tip to most homeschoolers, especially new homeschoolers, is write down why you are homeschooling. You've got to remember, because on those hard days, like, you're going to want to throw in the towel and be like, okay, how do I register them in public school? And so you have to remember why you're homeschooling. And I have like verses down and what I felt the Lord really led me to homeschooling with, and all kinds of things that I just go back to, because I have one of my best friends. Thank you, Leah. One of my best friends, she called me after her first date. It was her 3rd year in, and she's like, Christy, remind me again why I am doing this. And so I made her sit down and write down why she homeschools. And she called me back like a couple days later. She's like, that's right. I love homeschooling. I love doing this, and it's great for my kids. And honestly, again, like I'm a Christian mom, and so that is the key to me. I have 2 goals with homeschooling, which I've said before on these podcasts, or not podcasts, but the Periscopes. This is a new forum for me. But I've said before, my number one goal with homeschooling is to teach my kids to love the Lord more than anything else. I want them infused with love for the Lord. I want them to learn every subject through the lenses of God. There's no purpose in studying anatomy if you don't look at it from the perspective of the fact that God created you. And, looking at the stars and studying astronomy, God created the stars. And so, it is just, thank you. You're so sweet, Melanie. But yes, so that's my number one goal. I want my kids to have a firm foundation in loving God, knowing their Bibles, and I want them to learn apologetics. My kids once were asked the question, somebody asked them, so why do you homeschool? And my kids are so cute. You know what their answer was? They said, because my mom doesn't want us to learn about evolution. And I wasn't there for it, but when they told me about it, I'm like, well, who taught you about evolution? And they're like, well, you did. And I'm like, right. I'm teaching you all the same stuff, but I'm teaching them from the lenses of God. So that's how I want my kids to learn. I want them to know why evolution is popular and taught elsewhere. I want them to know why we believe in a young earth and why we believe in the Genesis account for creation. And so that is one of the awesome things about homeschooling, is that you control what is going into your kids' minds. And there is so much junk out there that is being taught these days, just everywhere. And even the socialization question that I get, can you think of any other time in your life where you were in a closed area? Okay, say hi to my friend Devin. Hi, Devin. Just came over to work with my hubby. Oh, hi. So yeah, so much junk out there. But yes, so with socialization, so when else in our lives are we in a room with everyone who's exactly our same age? That's not real life. And why would I ever want a setting where my kids are with a bunch of other kids, and that's a good thing, that they need to learn how to be like other kids? Because the Bible tells us that foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. So really it's just a bunch of fools running around. Yeah, Periscope is totally weird. Yeah, this is totally new. So you can tell him he's right. Periscope's weird, but it's fun. So, yes. So anyway, that's the big thing. Oh, and I didn't talk about, okay, my kids socialize with my other kids. Exactly. You know what? And if my kids, the hardest people to get along with in life are going to be your family, because they are closest to you and they know what buttons to push. And yes, so I totally agree. So if my kids do get socialized with my other kids, and we're always telling them that this is their training grounds. If they can get along with each other, they can get along with a lot of other people. And learning to have grace and patience with your siblings is so important. And so that's what we talk through. I mean, we have days when really character is all we get to. And sometimes it's in the form of discipline, and they get to do fun projects that I give them for the day. But okay, so I gave you my number 1, and that is to love the Lord. And my number 2 is to learn to love learning. Because you know what? Education doesn't stop at 12th grade. Education doesn't stop with a bachelor's or whatever degree you end up getting. Education is for a lifetime, and I want my kids to be excited to learn. And so that, I guess, are my big things. And so the more you get excited about homeschooling, I think the more people will catch the vision. Yes, thank you, Melanie. Absolutely, yeah. I think that the more we get excited, the more people will get excited for us. In fact, it's funny because now the entire neighborhood, even though they homeschool, they've got 5 kids. In fact, I'm sure they think we have more kids, because I'm sure it gets blurred somewhere. It's like the whole operator game that they play. But yeah, so people come over and they will ask me all kinds of questions. And thank you, Melanie. But I'm confident in what I'm answering. And they're like, well, what do you do if you get to a part of math? Math and science are the two that I usually get questions on. How do you homeschool math when it gets hard? And you know what? I don't remember how to multiply fractions, and that's okay. I have a curriculum. We're the teacher on the DVD. I love Mr. Demi, Math UC. I'll do a plug for them again. They teach them how to do it. We have a teacher's book. I've got a husband who's good at math. I have a brother-in-law who's an engineer. We have people in our lives who you learn, and you learn it along with them. Yeah, the joke is that you have to stay one day ahead of your kid with learning and homeschooling, and really it can be 1 minute ahead of them. So sometimes I'm literally looking ahead to see what we're going to learn, and okay, I'm a pro now. Here we go. But yeah, so you just have to, you learn along with them. And I will tell you, that is one thing. You will learn so much. That's what my mom says. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I have learned so many amazing things. And I've learned a lot about American history. There's so many things that they didn't teach us. Okay, I've learned so much about planets by teaching my boys. Yes, amazing information out there. But when you hit subjects, and so that's always a big question that I get asked, what do you do when you hit subjects that you're not good at? Well, with science, I was a sports medicine major, and so I just say, I love science. But grammar's hard for me, so I use books. But you know what? In life, there's going to be situations where you don't know what you're doing, and you have to learn those things. And so it's the same thing for our kids. They are learning early that if they don't understand how to do something, that they have to figure out how to do it. So sometimes we might have to get an extra book from the library, do a Google search together on the computer, find people in our lives that we know. So I have a friend who's a doctor. So if we get stumped on something, I can ask him, all kinds of things. It's really a silly question, isn't it? Yeah. Again, in perspective, I think that a lot of these questions are silly, but people are truly concerned. They think that I'm going to do some harm to my child. Because I think people really, and we have been, should I say brainwashed? But no, but we have been taught, don't educate your children, leave that to the experts. And so it's cool to show them that we don't know everything. Yeah, we have to learn. Like I said, a lifetime of learning. I'm still learning. And I think when my kids see me continue to learn, they realize that it's important for them to continue to learn as well. So, yes, but yeah, people are so, I think, stuck on because our society's done a great job of really pointing out that let the experts teach them too, which, you know what? I'm an expert in my child. I think Melanie mentioned that earlier. We are the experts at our own children. And, what I have loved is I started to talk about how my second son, it took us a long time, several phonics programs. We had to stop what we were doing, and we spent like a good 2 months just on sight words. And you know what? As soon as we worked on those for a long time, he got more confident and his reading skills started going up. And by the end of, I think it was first grade, he was finally starting to read some basic chapter books, and he was excited about that. And yes, there were a lot of like hitting my head upon the wall moments. I'll be really honest. You have days like, I think actually teaching kids to read is one of the hardest things. Some of the really basic things are so hard when you're looking at the word and you're going, you're like, cat, say it with me, it's cat, and they don't know it. But so that's just, again, know that it's going to be hard. I had to teach my fourth with whole language. My neighbor suggested it. Oh, I've never heard of that. So what is that, Melanie? You'll have to tell us about that. I haven't heard of teaching whole language. Totally my experience too. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, so just, you figure it out. And that's the great thing is if your kids are ahead, we go skyrocketing ahead. He memorized words. Yes, so we did a lot. I think that's what gets lost sometimes with phonics and some of the different things. Okay, my third child, he pretty much taught himself to read. I love it. That is awesome. But yes, so we have to just remember that they're going to learn. They'll learn it. We'll slow down if we need to. We'll speed up if I learned to relax. And that is big. I suggest to everyone who is new with homeschooling to take your first year to just get used to being home together, explore everything around you. Go outside, pick leaves and come back and do leaf rubs. Maybe look out what kind of tree it is or do something like that, but just enjoy, chart the weather, go to do field trips, but take time to really relax. Your penmanship and your writing can be copy work from the Bible if you want to. There's lots of ways to do really inexpensive, easy homeschool and for your kids to learn. Because really at the end of the day, it's not about our kids getting into Harvard, right? It's about our kids getting into heaven. And also, I think I want to prepare them, not for the job that they might have someday. I want to prepare them for their most important job. And that, to me, is to be the best spouse they can possibly be and to be the best parent they can possibly be. And so I think about that. Like, I want them home with me. I'm praying that I model that to them, that my husband models that to them. And I want them to see in the Word why that's so important. Because you know what? I would love for my kids to have a great job. I would love that. I want them to find passion in serving the Lord wherever He calls them to, whether it's accounting or you name it. I don't know why accounting came to mind. Maybe because we were talking about math. Okay, my oldest is actually 13. So we start our boys at 6 years old because we did start, I didn't talk about my background. My background is we had them in private preschool, and then we did public school because I totally chickened out of homeschooling. And then we pulled them out about a year. We did a year of kindergarten, and then we did 8 weeks of kindergarten and first grade, and we pulled them out because at that point I was like, this is ridiculous. God has totally called me to do this, and I'm not being obedient. So we started them at 6 because we wanted them to be mature. But my 13-year-old, he's doing algebra, which I think that is that 7th or 8th grade math. I think it's 8th grade math, and he's done in the 7th grade science already, so he's already working above where he could be, but and that's okay if they work below too. So yes, my oldest is 13, my youngest is going to be 2. So we have teens to tots in our house. But does anybody else have any more CRITIC questions that you're getting out there? I love hearing. Sometimes it's really funny what people come up with to ask about homeschooling. So I would love to hear what you guys are getting thrown at you, or some of your favorites, some of the veterans that are on here. I'd love to hear how you guys even answer some of the questions too. But I'm trying to think, because I'll do a plug for, I'm part of iHomeschool Network, and there is, and I'll put a link, I know I retweeted it on Twitter, but I'll put a link on my Facebook page. I've heard that it's selfish. Interesting. I have never gotten that one. It's selfish. So probably selfish that we want to keep our kids to ourselves. I hear what is the word I'm looking for? Sheltered, you're trying to protect them from the world. So, yeah. Okay. Yes. So yeah, that you're trying to keep them away from everyone else. Okay. I get asked if the government checks you out. Yes, I get asked that too. But Yeah, you know what? I don't want the government to be a part of my homeschool. That's why we're private homeschoolers. And so I mean, different states have different laws. In California, I fill out an affidavit, and that's kind of the end of it. I keep my own records in case I need them. But really, HSLDA, so that's Homeschool Legal Defense Association. They are my covering. Yes, Heidi, I know. Kind of scary. You never know what's going to happen in the future. But for right now, government's not checking up on me. And yes, people are very worried because you hear those stories, right? Here in the UK, we have lots of freedom. Oh, that's awesome. That is a huge praise, Leah. Do your kids have to be evaluated each year? Not in California. We don't even have to do testing in California, which is awesome. And that's one thing I hear about, because you hear about those homeschoolers that are abused and they were locked in closets and basements and all kinds of things like that. But then think about what you hear stories in public school, right? There's extremes to everything. So people like to twist that around and say, oh, but I heard about, like the government should be checking up on you. How do you know if they're at grade level? That's one of my favorites. How do you know if they're at grade level? Well, my kids aren't at grade level. They're all over the map. So grade level is not my goal. Grade level is something that somebody somewhere decided on a chart that's what they should learn. So that's awesome. Here in Florida, we have them evaluated each year. I've got some friends who homeschool in Florida. And yes, I think you guys have to work with a public school teacher and have them evaluate you or evaluate how things are going. And I am sorry, that is not fun. I know some states are not as friendly to homeschooling. Again, it's legal in every 50 states here in the United States. And I know lots of other countries, like Leah was just saying, the UK, you can do it. There's freedom there in many different areas. So, thank you for inviting people something to offer. I appreciate that. So yes, it's totally different in all different situations. Oh, it's illegal in Germany. Yes, I know. There's that homeschool family that got asylum finally here. Almost most colleges don't accept. Okay, still had to take the GAD. Okay, I think you were just saying most colleges do accept homeschoolers. So yes, you can. In fact, I don't know if it's quite the same, but colleges used to come after homeschool students because they know that these kids know how to learn. Because it's just a different situation. You're not being spoon-fed information. You have to go for it. And that's something I tell my kids all the time. I'm like, you know what? I mean, there's a level of policing that I do with my kids as far as I check up with them. They have to complete certain things by a certain time, and we're not done with school until I say we're done with school and they've completed and have an understanding of most things. But, and I forgot actually see, you gotta love mommy brains, right? I've totally forgot where I was going with that. But yes, so seeking homeschool admission. Yes, so that's right. We were talking about that. So yes, lots of colleges are seeking homeschoolers because, again, kids have to learn. So I'm telling my kids, that's where I was going with that. I tell my kids all the time that it's their education, and I tell them to go for it. I'm not going to slow them down. And that's why my son, he's like, really? And that's why he's in algebra now. Is going into his 7th grade. He's already started algebra for next year. And he is just totally excited to just go as far as he can. And I actually mentioned to him that a lot of homeschoolers do graduate early because you can just go through material. We have a community college right up the street from us that I think, not this age, but, in several years, maybe I'll have them take some high school courses at college. And so you get college credit and you get weighted grades when you do it that way. So it's a really great way. There's so many amazing ways to do things. Graduating when you're 15. Man, rock on, Simple Life Mama. That is awesome. Yes, I love hearing stories like that. Our pastor at our church, actually now he's at a different church, but our pastor at our church, their 18-year-old daughter, when she was 18, she graduated with her high school degree and her 4-year college degree by using College Plus. So College Plus is definitely something that we're looking into because I forget how much they paid for that 4-year degree, but it was like $10,000 or less or somewhere right around that. My kids have my love for learning. Fingers crossed. Absolutely. And you know what? Grace if they don't. Some kids do, some kids don't. Some years are better than other years. I feel like some of my other kids have just now started to kind of figure out that, this is pretty cool. I can really push a little harder. But sometimes, I think that we've spent a lot of years, my kids did college prep. Oh, really liked it. That's great. Ohio offers dual enrollment for homeschooling college, which helps pay for tuition. Oh, that is awesome. There's a lot of good states to homeschool in. That is so neat. But yeah, there's lots of opportunities out there. And I think that's what a lot of people are just ignorant about. I mean, it's, again, like people just don't know, but there's amazing opportunities for homeschool families and for homeschool kids. And so I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see what the Lord has up for us next. And there's always different seasons too. Even in homeschooling, there's times when you have to slow down and there's times when you have to speed up. So for those of you that just joined us, I'm Christy Clover and my blog is Raising Clovers. And I would love for everybody here to follow me. And if you do want to invite people, I read somewhere or heard somewhere that you're supposed to be telling people to invite people to the Periscope, but we're probably getting ready to close out here somewhat soon. But if you push on the little icon that has the number on it, then you can, if you click on that, it'll say share, and you can share it with other people. But I'm going to try to Periscope Tuesdays at 2 o'clock to answer questions about homeschooling. So I would love to have you join me Tuesdays at 2, and again, Raising Clovers. So I always let my Facebook group know, I Instagram it, and I send it out on Twitter. So I try to definitely give people a heads up, like 15, 20 minutes ahead of time to help people remember. And then, of course, like Periscope, if you put notifications on, will let you know with the little tweet noise that I'm going live. But I also would like to do some more Periscoping in general. This is great. Thanks for doing it. Oh, you're welcome, Simple Life Mama. It was so fun. I am loving Periscope. I love the interaction side. I almost wish that we could at least talk more, especially when questions go by really fast. Great to meet you. Great to meet you too, Leah. And I'm so jealous. I would love to go to the UK. I have never been there. I've been lots of other places, but I really want to go there someday. Oh, thank you. I choose joy now. This is very fun. So again, please follow me. I would love to connect with you guys more. Check out my blog. I actually, these Tuesdays at 2 homeschooling question things, I do put them on my YouTube channel as well. So if you are catching this on replay or you missed the first part of this, then I do move them over to YouTube as well for people to continue to see. So that's one fun way to kind of share about the different things that we talk about. But again, thank you guys so much. Any more questions that anybody has for me while we're here? Oh, cool. I will come find you. Definitely. I'm sure there's some way for me to do it here. I'll find you. Leah Bowden, I'll remember that. I'll come back and look. So I would love to find you there. So very cool. I follow one of the new Periscope guru guys, Alex Pettit. I think I'm saying his name. He Periscopes from London, and my kids all sit around there like, let's listen to his accent. So we love that. But thank you guys for joining me. I hope you join me again next Tuesday at 2 and, randomly when I'm on. Next week, I'm actually going to be at CHEA, which is the Homeschool Convention. It's the Christian Home Educators Association of California. And I'm doing 3 workshops there at their convention this year, and I'm actually going to be part of a blogging panel there as well on July 16th through the 18th. So if you're in California, Southern California, and want to come join us, we'd love to see you there, and we can meet in person. So that'd be really fun. So anyway, take care, everyone, and have a really great day, and hope to catch you on some of the other social medias as well. So take care and have a good one. So there you have it. Our Periscope about answering those homeschool critics. I hope you were encouraged by this video today, and I hope that helps you in your homeschooling endeavors, whether or not you have been homeschooling for years or just getting started or considering getting started. I hope that answered some of those questions and helps you to answer some of those questions that you get from people who don't understand what homeschooling really is. There's still a lot of misconceptions about homeschooling, even though homeschooling's been around for a lot. And homeschooling looks so much different now than it did years ago. So some people still hold on to those old thoughts about those awkward, unsocialized homeschoolers. So again, hope that this blessed you today. Thank you to everyone who came over and joined me live. I would love to have you join me live next time. I'm at Periscope. My handle, I guess that's what it's called, my little call sign is at Raising Clovers. So go ahead and follow me on Periscope. in order to know when I go live. But typically Tuesdays, 2 o'clock is when I have scheduled to answer homeschool questions specifically. I'm going to try to Periscope more frequently as that as well, give you a glimpse into our home life. But if I would love to have you follow me there, follow me here on YouTube as well. That would be awesome. I'm making different videos all about our homeschooling life, about just daily life in general as a mom. And as a mom of, I guess it's a large family. 5, is that a lot? I don't know. But of a family of 7, I do a lot of different things that I try to show you simple solutions for a more joy-filled life. And I would love you to check out my blog as well. So you could just subscribe and follow me wherever. But I do post on my Facebook page at Raising Clovers, as well as Twitter and Instagram, when I'm going to go live. I'll let you know about 15 minutes ahead of time. And then, of course, once you go live, if you follow me on Twitter, you will, if you have notifications turned on, you will receive a notification that I am on live. But anyway, I would love to have you join us. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye.